Hi, everybody. Welcome to BlueCoats pregame live. I am D Line. I'm joined by Coach Jason Crafton and Matt Murphy. And we want to let you know that Christiana Care is our sponsor for the pregame show. Visit christianacare.org. They will tell you how to prevent the spread of COVID-19. They'll give you information on testing locations and so much more. We are thankful to Christiana Care. All right, this is the first game of the 2021 season for the Bluecoats. The G League has gone to a bubble down in Florida, similar to what the NBA did last year. And Murph is on the scene. So, Murph, I think people just want to know, how is this working? How will it play out? What have been your observations in the bubble for this G League season?
Yeah, I'm really excited for this season. It's great to be with you guys. It's great to have our partners at Detv. It's great to be here in the bubble. Feels like we've been here for a long time. The team, including myself, as part of the traveling party, arrived on January 27th, so 2 weeks to the day yesterday. And it's felt like maybe longer than that, but there's a lot of great things going on here. 18 teams converging on one location. You got the PA going in the background behind me. The whole atmosphere, but I think everyone's just excited to play basketball again. We're excited to have Bluecoats basketball back. The training camp schedule, they practice most days, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. This Delaware Bluecoats team, pretty good practice slot, I'm not going to lie. Had the rest of the day to do their treatment or whatever they needed, and now they're ready for game action. They got their work in. It's a new group, so we'll see how the chemistry plays out. Only a couple of holdovers, but positional versatility is one thing you hear a lot with this team. They might not have the height of last year, but they're going to be fast, and I think they're going to be fun to watch.
And we get to watch and listen to you right here on DETV coming up in a few moments. So that's exciting, Murph. I'm excited to listen to you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Jason, I mentioned that you are currently coaching Maryland Eastern Shore, but you are a family member of the Bluecoats, and we're on Connor Johnson's staff back a few seasons ago. So Murph brought up that the rosters, and this is often with G League teams, it's always changing. But we do have somebody who is a longtime holdover for the Bluecoats in Jared Brownridge. What can people look for and expect from him?
Jared Brownridge, JB, the veteran roster player for the Bluecoats. Incredible person, incredible leader, and also an unbelievable three-point shooter. We're talking, D, about 325 made threes in the last 2 seasons. He's a leading three-point shooter in terms of made shots in the G League. Coming in shooting career around 40%. So look for Jared to get ready to light it up from 3. He also does a great job when you run him off the line of making mid-range shots. So tremendous player, tremendous leader. I'm sure the Bluecoats are happy to have him back.
Absolutely. All right. Fort Wayne did play yesterday, which was the start of the G League season in the bubble. They lost to Westchester 125-120. Cassius Stanley had 21 yesterday. Just give people a feel for maybe what they can see from him and the Mad Ants.
The second round pick for the Pacers, Cassius Stanley, he came out guns a-blazing. 25 shot attempts yesterday, D. I was very impressed with the intentions of them trying to find him off of screening action and trying to get him shots. Very aggressive player. Look for him to try to get his clips up extremely early in the game tonight.
All right, we're going to do this on every occasion, but we have the coach checklist. So you being the coach that you are, sir, can you please take us to the coach checklist?
All right, we talk about the coach checklist tonight. Had some great talks with Connor Johnson, just looking at the roster here. You know, the Bluecoats third in the G League last year in pace. So expect Connor's team to really try to push the basketball up the pace and try to get up and down. So we want to see if we can do a great job of having great pace. The second thing we want to look at is limiting turnovers. In a situation like this where you've got limited amount of practices, trying to gel a team of new players together, it's going to be important to see if they can execute their offense and do it without creating a lot of turnovers and giving up opportunities for the Mad Ants to get easy baskets in transition. The last thing is it's the first game, so everybody's anxious. There's a lot of anxiety. They're in the bubble. There's all types of anxiety around COVID-19. Guys are ready to play basketball. So playing hard without fouling. With only a few practices under their belt and the amount of ball pressure I know Connor's going to want to have in terms of getting into the basketball, especially against a really good point guard in Josh Gray that you're going to see out there for the Mad Ants. I know it's going to be important for them to be able to play hard, not foul, and give up easy baskets at the free throw line. If they can do those three things, and we'll check in on that at halftime, I think they'll have success.
Coach, let's go to our probable starters, which is brought to us by Christiana Care. For the Bluecoats, what do you see here?
Well, we're looking at Jordan Bones starting at point guard. We think he'll get the start. Really crafty point guard, can get in the lane, create plays for himself and other guys. Rajon Tucker, a two-way player for the Bluecoats here. Strong physical player that can shoot the three and also get in the lane. That will be the backcourt. In the front court, Julian Washington, long 6'8", small forward. Can shoot the three, can also get in the lane and make mid-range shots. Look for him to be active defensively and getting deflections. Jamario Jones, 2 years ago, led the NCAA in rebounding. He's a blue-collar hustle guy. Look for him to be all over the glass. Paul Reed's a real long, active forward that'll be all over the offensive glass, looking to get second-chance opportunities. I like the length of this lineup. I think they'll be aggressive defensively, and that's what the Bluecoats look like they're going to come out to start with today.
And our probable starters are brought to you by Christiana Cares. As a friend of our community, they remind you, wear a mask, socially distance, avoid gatherings, wash your hands frequently. Again, it's all for the love of health. Jay, we'll be back.
To game one. Naz Mitru-Long starting in place of Josh Gray for Fort Wayne. 7 to shoot. Reed has 2 fouls. Got to be careful. Devin Robinson with 1 to shoot. He got it off, and he scored. Devin Robinson's on the score sheet. The 6'8", third year in the G League was last season, actually, with the Raptors 905. It's his 4th G League campaign. One of those was with Delaware a few years back, where he played 43 games. Turnover on the Bluecoats, trying to get their feet under them in their first game action of the year. They've been in Florida since January 27th, and we're here courtside as Cassius Stanley misfires from 3. Paul Reed, and he scores. Paul Reed's first G League bucket. The 76ers two-way contract player is on the board. Mitru-Long gets it to go, plus the foul. Robinson whistled for the foul. Mitru-Long trying to convert the three-point play. 27-year-old, his 4th G League season out of Iowa State. He sinks it. Justin Robinson. The lefty, and it's finished by Paul Reed. Cleaning up the Robinson miss. Reed back-to-back buckets after back-to-back fouls here in the first quarter. Defensive 3 seconds on Rajon Tucker. So Mitru-Long will shoot 1. He hits to extend the Mad Ants lead in the early going, 8-6. Jalen LeCue. Pacers assignee, swinging it around, Cassius Stanley. Mitru-Long, 2 to shoot for LeCue, a deep 3 off the mark. BlueCoats hold. Rajon Tucker, the other Sixers two-way, in addition to Reed going in, following his shot, but it's Devin Robinson. Mitru Long for Stanley, who can't finish. And then Mitru Long fouls Washburn, BlueCoats veteran. Get our first subs for Delaware. Ivan Rabb and Lamine Janet will replace Jamario Jones and Paul Reed. So Rabb and Janet joining Robinson, Tucker, and Washburn. The battle between the 76ers and Pacers G-League affiliates here on day 2 of the G-League season in the bubble. In Florida, Rabb with a nice move and finish to tie it up. Fresh off the bench, Ivan Rabb. Blocking foul plus the bucket for Jalen LeCue. Both teams 4 of 9 shooting, and neither has made a 3 thus far. Apologies if we're not quite synced up here from Florida. Game 1 of 15 regular season games that the BlueCoats will play. We appreciate having you with us. Matt Murphy here with you as Rabb corrals the missed free throw. Again, free throws in the G-League, if it's a normal foul, can count for more than just 1 point, but that was a blocking foul, and then the missed free throw. And here's another foul. A lot of whistles in the early going. So it's still a 2-point game. The teams going back and forth, 4 of 9 shooting for both. 0 for 6 collectively from 3. Tucker nearly comes away with a steal. Get some more substitutions here in a 10-8 ball game. Jared Brownridge, Braxton Key, and Jordan Bone. 3 BlueCoats subs. Robinson, Washburn, and Tucker take a seat. So a whole new group out there essentially for Delaware. Jared Brownridge forces the steal to Key. 3-on-1. Brownridge scores the bucket to tie it up. Jared Brownridge, the all-time leader in games played for the Delaware BlueCoats. 91 coming into this, and the BlueCoats get another steal and a whistle. Some energy from this group off the bench. We'll have a timeout on the floor. Full timeout. We're all tied at 10. Game 1 of the season for the Delaware BlueCoats against the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. 10-10.
There's always this moment when you're about to leave the bubble and go out into nature where you feel a little crazy for doing it. But then if you keep going, you start laughing and you start turning on the music and you become joyous. You feel as if you've hacked something. Then you're in the slipstream. Those are the moments you will never forget.
One of our family members wasn't feeling well. Within a matter of 4 days, my mom, myself, and my brother were admitted to Christiana Hospital. COVID does not have a face. You can be standing right next to someone who is COVID positive and you have no clue. I survived COVID, but I have scar tissue in my lungs. Wash your hands, get tested, wear a mask. COVID-19 stops with me.
Welcome back to Walt Disney World, where the NBA G League season started up yesterday, and for the Delaware Bluecoats, it starts today. 10-10, 6:41 to go, first quarter for the Delaware Bluecoats against the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. Thanks for joining us as Jordan Bone can't get it to go. Offensive rebound for Ivan Rabb, and the finish. A battle between the Philadelphia 76ers G League affiliate in the Bluecoats and the Indiana Pacers G League affiliate in the Mad Ants. Josh Gray into the ball game. Jalen LeCue and Cassius Stanley still out there playing handoff on top. 8 to shoot for LeCue. He can really jump. He drives in, Key with the block, but a foul on the body with 3.6 on the shot clock. Live from Florida, Matt Murphy with you. We'll be with you all season long here on DETV. 15-game regular season. And today is the first of 15 for the Bluecoats. The top 8 teams will make the playoffs. Single elimination postseason. The Bluecoats have been in the bubble since the end of January, the 2-week mark since they've been here. LeCue misses the free throw that would have counted for 2. It would have tied the game. That rule went in last year. You shoot as many as you were fouled for. 12-10 Bluecoats. Jordan Bone on top. New Bluecoats acquisition couldn't hit. Frank Mason signed a 2-way contract with the Orlando Magic. And the Bluecoats subsequently traded for the returning rights to Bone with the Lakeland Magic. So he's been working his way in over the past few days. Fort Wayne already shooting due to the Bluecoats fouls here in the first quarter. It's Rayshawn Hammonds, the rookie out of Georgia, at the line. He had 11 and 6 yesterday. Fort Wayne, second of a back-to-back. The lefty Hammonds sinks the free throw for 2 points. There's that 1 for 2. They lost to Westchester yesterday, so the 0-1 Mad Ants against the Bluecoats in action for the first time. Ivan Rabb on top. Half the shot clock gone. He's way off. Rabb was acquired in a trade with the Westchester Knicks. Approaching 5 minutes left in this first quarter here in Florida. Josh Gray, a nice crossover, working it around now. It's Brian Bowen. He had a big game yesterday. Driving in hard. Brownridge got a hand on it. It will stay with Fort Wayne. 6 on the shot clock. Brian Bowen, the 22-year-old, had 22 points and 12 rebounds yesterday in the 5-point loss. Both were team highs. Gray to inbound, only 6 to shoot. Dexter Miles Jr. short on the 3. Braxton Key, the 6'8" rookie out of the University of Virginia, former national champion. I guess he'll always be a national champion, but he won one with that Virginia team. He dishes it off for Rabb and the bucket. Again, we're trying to match it up as best we can here. Thanks for bearing with us as we get the season started. We're excited to have Bluecoats basketball back. With 7 on the shot clock, Gray is off the mark. The Bluecoats playing aggressive defense in this first quarter. Lamine Janae, the other rookie in addition to Key, both of them playing catch with it on the wing. And a whistle away from the play. It's defensive 3 seconds on Rayshawn Hammonds. Brownridge will shoot the free throw. 1 shot. Bluecoats 7 of 15 shooting. Brownridge, a 3-point specialist, really just a great shooter all around, sinks the free throw. 15 to 12. That's only 1, given the defensive 3-second call. 4:22 left in the first quarter. Neither team has made a 3-pointer. Delaware 0 for 3. Fort Wayne 0 for 6. Ivan Rab for Lamine Janae. Janae can't get the roll. The board was by O'Shea Brissett to Josh Gray. Still a one-possession game. Appreciate you checking us out on DETV. Hammond's going to work. Good help defense from Janae. Another stop for Delaware. Here's Brownridge. Finds Key. Still in search of our first triple. Balanced scoring all around so far. Cassius Stanley. The two-way player out of Duke gets the bucket to fall, and the BlueCoats will take a timeout. They still lead by one. The Stanley bucket cuts it to a 15-14 ball game with just about 3.5 to go in the first quarter. It's Delaware BlueCoats basketball on DETV.
I was pretty sick and didn't realize how sick I was. So I called my son. I said, son, call an ambulance for me. That was the last thing I remembered. I was in a coma for 2.5 weeks. I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to feed myself. The nurses had to do everything for me. Wear a mask, wash your hands, get tested. COVID-19 stops with me.
The region's foremost media content creators and premium provider of digital broadcast solutions, DETV, channel 28. For more information, visit detvch.com. Matt Murphy back with you live from the NBA G League bubble here on DETV. It's Delaware BlueCoats basketball, NBA G League action against the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. Look out, Paul Reed. He's got 6 in his G League debut. The high-flying rookie out of DePaul, he grabs the rebound. He does have 2 fouls, but he's got 6 points and 3 rebounds here in the first quarter. Bone for 3. Long. Offensive foul. Miles whistled as Brownridge steps in. Jones driving in. Off the mark. 2.5 to go first quarter. BlueCoats 17, Fort Wayne 14. Daxter Miles Jr. misfires. 6 to shoot. Gray on top. He knocks it down for 3. All the way up for Reed, who's got 8 points. He breaks the tie again with 2 to go in the first. Paul Reed, the standout so far in this one, with 8 points to lead all scorers. Cassius Stanley lays it up and in. He's got 6. The team's going back and forth here in the first quarter. Robinson for three. BlueCoats 0 for 6 from long range. Gray on the left wing, 10 to shoot. O'Shea Brissett for three, in and out. Paul Reed has his 5th rebound to go along with 8 points. Brownridge for three. Miles trying his luck again from three, no good. Robinson for Bone. 3 ball. (22-19) BlueCoats, final minute, first quarter. Jared Brownridge takes a seat in favor of Rajon Tucker. Justin Robinson, 8 on the shot clock. The lefty out of Virginia Tech, second-year player. Drives into his strong side, puts it up, and he's fouled. .30 seconds to go after the Robinson miss first quarter. Josh Gray. Foul before the shot. It's on Justin Robinson. Thanks for tuning into the first BlueCoats game of the G League bubble season here in Florida. Matt Murphy here with you live, courtside. Appreciate you bearing with us a little bit as we get settled for the 2021 G League campaign. In a back and forth first quarter so far. Josh Gray's free throw cuts it to 1 with 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. 22-21 BlueCoats. 2-point free throw. Tucker driving right side. Tipped out by Fort Wayne with a 9-second difference, closer to 10 on the clocks between shot and game clock. Jared Brownridge comes back in. They put another shooter out there for this inbounds under. Bone to inbound. The point guard out of Tennessee lobs it into the backcourt, intercepted. Josh Gray meeting Tucker, who blocks him at the rim. Brownridge saves it. Brissett puts it up and in. O'Shea Brissett gives Fort Wayne the lead. Shot clock turned off, 13 seconds to go. Mad Ants by 1. The story of the first quarter so far, Paul Reed, Sixers two-way player, 8 points on 4 of 5 shooting with 5 rebounds. His 8 points leading the way for all scorers. 10 seconds to go in the quarter. BlueCoats will have the last shot. They can take the lead. Going into the second. Brownridge has a little bit of space for 3, and it's in and out. Jones is put back, no good. Tapped around, and there's the horn for the end of the first quarter. Teams getting their feet under them in the first quarter. It was back and forth, trading buckets, struggling from beyond the arc. We'll see if they can turn it around heading to the second quarter here in Disney. Mad Ants 23, BlueCoats 22. BlueCoats basketball on DETV.
One of our family members wasn't feeling well. Within a matter of 4 days, my mom, myself, and my brother were admitted to Christiana Hospital. COVID does not have a face. You can be standing right next to someone who is COVID positive and you have no clue. I survived COVID, but I have scar tissue in my lungs. Wash your hands, get tested, wear a mask. COVID-19 stops with me.
Every fall, Motor Trend tests the latest SUVs. This year, one impressed us most. It's a modern take on a 70-year-old icon. Off-road, its capability is class-leading. On-road, it's refined and quick. Frankly, it's the SUV we love driving the most. Congratulations to the all-new Land Rover Defender, Motor Trend's 2021 SUV of the Year.
I was pretty sick and didn't realize how sick I was. So I called my son. I said, son, call an ambulance for me. That was the last thing I remembered. I was in a coma for 2.5 weeks. I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to feed myself. The nurses had to do everything for me. Wear a mask, wash your hands, get tested. COVID-19 stops with me.
Welcome back to the NBA G League single site 2021 campaign here in Florida at Disney World. Matt Murphy, pleased to be bringing you BlueCoats basketball again in 2021. It's been well over 300 days since we've last seen the Delaware BlueCoats in action, and it feels good to be back. After the first quarter, they trail the Fort Wayne Mad Ants 23-22. And the first possession of the second quarter, the Mad Ants can't convert. So the Bluecoats with Washburn, Reed, Jamario Jones, Jordan Bone, and Rajon Tucker have 10 to shoot in the offensive end. 30 seconds in to the second frame. Jones in for Reed with 5 to shoot. Guarded by Brissett. Reed going in, traveling before getting the bucket to fall. Paul Reed had 8 first quarter points, and he has 6 rebounds after grabbing the first board of this quarter. Atmosphere here in the arena. A lot of black and white G League branding. Gets quiet at times. Mitru Long misfires for 3 on top. Looking for the first bucket of the second quarter. Reed for 3. He cashes. Paul Reed with 11 points, leading the way. That pass is well over the head of Cassius Stanley. Bluecoats forced the turnover. Jordan Bone bringing it up. Again, Frank Mason signed a 2-way with the Orlando Magic. He was the point guard for the start of training camp with the Bluecoats. Tucker fires it in for Bone. Looking for Jones. Jamario Jones puts it up and in for 2. Jones is on the score sheet. Acquired in the G League draft. Played for the Wisconsin Herd last season. He was in the draft pool because the Herd are one of the teams not playing. Tucker a big block, but it stays with Fort Wayne. 8 on the shot clock after the rejection. Bluecoats up 4 on defense. Washburn recovers to the corner with 2.8 on the shot clock. And they're saying it's off Stanley and going with the Bluecoats. So 18 teams. That includes G League Ignite, the team of some G League veterans, but most notably some of the top high school prospects that are eligible for the 2021 NBA draft. They won their first game yesterday against the Santa Cruz Warriors. Today, it's the Sixers and Pacers affiliates with Bone shooting the 3 for the Bluecoats. Off the mark. First game of the year for Delaware. Devin Robinson, former Delaware player, gives it up on the right side. And that one's coming my way out of bounds. Another turnover. The Bluecoats really communicating on the defensive end, forcing some errant passes from Fort Wayne right now. Paul Reed for Jamario Jones. Delaware looking to extend their early first half lead. Jordan Bone with 7 to shoot. Nice pass for Jones. Nice move. And that should be goaltending. Count the bucket. Jamario Jones, his second basket. He's got 4. Reed leading the way with 11. He's in the paint, 44 in white. Brian Bowen, a two-way player for the Indiana Pacers. Illegal screen has it coming with the Bluecoats. Delaware's defense has been the story so far early in this second quarter. I mentioned it on our pregame show with Dee Lynam and Jason Crafton that positional versatility is something this Bluecoats staff likes. As Tucker fouled for 3. But the ability for guys to play multiple positions, especially on the defensive end, guard multiple positions, a strength of this 2021 Bluecoats team. Tucker will go to the line with a 6-point lead. Rajon Tucker finished his college career at Little Rock, two-way player with the Sixers. Looking for his first point of the day. He converts the free throw for 3 rather, because he was fouled shooting a 3. Pardon me. It's a big way to get on the scoreboard. Again, that rule new last year. It's back this year. 1 free throw only outside of the final 2 minutes. Jamario Jones, who's a rebounding machine, picks up his second of the game. Average double-digit boards for Wisconsin. Tucker for 3, bottom of the net. Rajon Tucker, just like that, 6 points, and just like that, the Bluecoats lead by 12. It starts on the defensive end, and Tucker getting it done on the offensive end. 12-point lead for Delaware, early second quarter.
There's always this moment when you're about to leave the bubble and go out into nature where you feel a little crazy for doing it. But then if you keep going, you start laughing and you start turning on the music and you become joyous. You feel as if you've hacked something. Then you're in the slipstream. Those are the moments you will never forget.
One of our family members wasn't feeling well. Within a matter of 4 days, my mom, myself, and my brother were admitted to Christiana Hospital. COVID does not have a face. You can be standing right next to someone who is COVID positive and you have no clue. I survived COVID, but I have scar tissue in my lungs. Wash your hands. Get tested. Wear a mask. COVID-19 stops with me.
Today's Bluecoats season opener is sponsored by Nemours Children's Health System, a system designed to help children everywhere grow up healthy and reach their full potential. Visit nemours.org to learn more. Matt Murphy, thank you for joining us for Bluecoats basketball on DETV, the start of what should be a really fun season here at the NBA GLeague bubble, a really unique season, and I'm pleased to bring you the action. Ryan Bowen misses the first attempt out of the timeout for Fort Wayne. He's coming off that 22-point game, but he's struggling so far in this one, still looking for his first bucket, the Indiana two-way player. The Bluecoats have been on a nice little run. Tucker has been a big part of it with 6 points, but he can't add to it with a 3. O'Shea Brissett fouled on the other end. If you're just joining us, Paul Reed, Philadelphia 76ers two-way player, leads all scorers with 11 points on 5 of 6 shooting. He also has 6 rebounds. For Fort Wayne, they've got 2 players with 6, Cassius Stanley and Nazmi Trulong. This will be 1 for 2 opportunity for Brissett at the line as Tucker, Jones, and Reed take a seat for Delaware. Resetting the 5, Jordan Bone, Jared Brownridge, Julian Washburn, Lamine Janae, and Ivan Rabb in the middle. That's 1 shot for 2 points for Brissett to make it a 10-point game. O'Shea Brissett now on the score sheet himself. Former Syracuse player. Jared Brownridge misses. Here's Hammonds. Up. Strong left hand. He follows his shot, follows his miss, and taps it home. Back to a single-digit ball game. Live here in Disney. First game of the year for the BlueCoats. 35-27. Rabb for Brownridge. Gives him a pick, gets some space. Hammond's got a piece. So it'll stay with the BlueCoats as Brownridge couldn't get that over. The 6'9" rookie, 22 years old, Rayshawn Hammonds, who had a strong debut with 11 and 6 yesterday. Again, Fort Wayne, second game in as many days for them. They lost 125-120 yesterday afternoon to a very strong Westchester Knicks team. Julian Washburn, 5 on the shot clock, no whistle, and he hits the fadeaway jumper. Julian Washburn knocks it down to extend the lead to 10 again. BlueCoats were 22 and 21 last year, very similar to what this Fort Wayne team did. They were 21 and 22 when the season came to a halt last spring. Stanley puts it up, count the bucket plus the foul for Cassius Stanley. Foul on Janae. Stanley converts the three-point play, gets Fort Wayne to 30 points. BlueCoats up 7 with possession. Approaching the midway point of this second quarter. Active hands for Nazmi Trulong. 2-on-1, Stanley trailing. Trulong puts it up and in, and Delaware is going to take a timeout as the Mad Ants cut the deficit to 5 with 6:32 to go in the second. We'll step away and be right back once more. BlueCoats holding by 5, but they want to talk things over. We'll be back. Second quarter, Detv.
I was pretty sick, didn't realize how sick I was. So I called my son. I said, son, call an ambulance for me. That was the last thing I remembered. I was in a coma for 2.5 weeks. I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to feed myself. The nurses had to do everything for me. Wear a mask, wash your hands, get tested. COVID-19 stops with me.
We've got a good one here at the NBA GLeague bubble. It is a 5-point game. Delaware BlueCoats 37, Fort Wayne Mad Ants 32. Matt Murphy here with you on DETV and Facebook Live, wherever you might be catching us. We appreciate having you. Game 1 of a 15-game regular season for the BlueCoats. Jared Brownridge, we've seen that plenty of times. 3 ball for Brownridge. Just what they needed out of a timeout as Fort Wayne started to climb back. Brownridge shuts it down for a moment. Nazmi Long, guarded by Jordan Bone. Pass couldn't get through to Hammonds, and it's going with the Bluecoats. Last touch by the home team in dark blue. There is home and away. I should say there are home and away designations. It is a single site season. Every team will play 15 regular season games. The top 8 of the 18 teams who have opted in will make the playoffs. Jordan Bone floats it short. Rab knocked it out of bounds, but it apparently touched Stanley last and will stay with the Bluecoats. Be sure to stick around. The halftime live show coming up. Bluecoats halftime live featuring D. Lynham and former Bluecoats assistant, current University of Maryland Eastern Shore head coach Jason Crafton. We get some good insight there from those two as you did pregame. That's all season long here on DETV as well. Brownridge gets the inbounds pass. It got tipped and was way short. Bowen in transition misses the dunk. Now the Bluecoats with a chance to push. Bone, he knocks it in off the backboard with the layup. Ten-point lead for the Bluecoats, who are shooting just over 41% from the field here in the first half. Hammonds has been active in the first half. So much so to the point where as he picks up a steal and the Bluecoats attempt to recover, so much so for Hammonds that he's got 8 rebounds to lead all players in that category with 6 points after that last finish. Fort Wayne will keep possession after they had the steal that rolled into the Bluecoats backcourt, so they have it in the offensive end. Jalen LeCue has been quiet so far. He's way downtown for 3. Comes up short. LeCue, just 1 basket. Rajon Tucker around Stanley. Euro steps into the lane, puts it up. He's going to the line. Rajon Tucker fouled. Tucker shooting 1 for 2 with an 8-point lead. Baxter Miles Jr. comes back, former West Virginia Mountaineer, replacing Nazmi Long. So Tucker at the stripe. Sinks the free throw to make it a 10-point lead again. Rajon Tucker has 8 points. He and Paul Reed, the two 76ers two-way players, have combined for 19 of Delaware's 44. Lamine Janae with the block, recovered by Tucker. Brownridge, way too much space for him, in and out. Bowen pushing it. Hammonds taps it in for the bucket. Rayshawn Hammonds with 8 points and 9 rebounds. Well on his way to a double-double. The margin is 8. In favor of the team on offense, Delaware. Tucker draws the foul on Miles. Just about 4 minutes left here before the halftime break. First game of the year for the Delaware Bluecoats, who, when the season was suspended and ultimately the remainder was canceled last year, they were in a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference, which if they make the playoffs this season, after the 15-game regular season, it'll be their first playoff berth in franchise history. 4 to shoot. Paul Reed, nice move, but he can't get the roll. Reed's got 11 and 6. Gets back on defense. The defensive board gives him his 7th rebound. Tucker kind of falling all over the floor in this first half. And another defensive foul on Fort Wayne. courtside here in Disney. ESPN Wide World of Sports complex. Rajon Tucker shooting 1 for 2. He'll count for 2 points. It'll get him to double digits. He'd be the second player in the game, joining Reed, should he make it. And he does. 10 points to Rajon Tucker. So 21 between the Sixers' two ways. Neither team shooting the 3-ball very well. We'll see if Fort Wayne gets another opportunity. Instead, it's an easy 2 for O'Shea Brissett. The move wasn't easy, but when he got to the rim, it was just him for the dunk. Back to a single-digit ball game. My point about the long-range shooting is that the teams have only made 5 threes combined. Here's Bowen shooting 1. He's short. Bowen in on Bowen, who corrals the second miss. 4 of 17 from distance, the Bluecoats. 1 of 12 from 3 are the Mad Ants. The bucket for O'Shea Brissett, who's turning it on a little bit here in the second quarter. 6.6 rebounds for Brissett, the 22-year-old out of Syracuse. Brownridge, 3-ball. He got it. Jared Brownridge from downtown. Jared Brownridge has the most threes in the G League over the last 2 seasons, 325. 49-40 Bluecoats, 2.5 to go before halftime. Brownridge with a steal, 2-on-1 with Jones. Shuffles it off to him. Jones waits, and the follow for Paul Reed. Hanging on the rim, Paul Reed, 13 points. Josh Gray, who averaged 22 points a game for Erie last year, gives it off for Hammond. 10 to shoot. Hammond's scoop shot, way short offensive board. Brissett, shot clock didn't reset because it did not hit the rim, so only 3 to shoot. Gray's 3 rattles home. Josh Gray hits the 3. We're under 2 to go in the second. Gray's got 6 points. Bluecoats by 8 with 1:40 to go here on DETV. First half action, the Bluecoats season opener. Tucker whistled for a carry. We'll get some substitutions with 1:36 to go before the halftime break. Again, stay tuned for Halftime Live with D. Lynham and Jason Crafton. Connor Johnson's Bluecoats, the third-year head coach, with a 51-43 lead over the Mad Ants, led by Tom Hankins in his first season, playing his second game. His team playing their second game in 2 days. Season started yesterday with 6 games. The first game for the Coats. Gray, at the end of the shot clock, misses on the right side. LeCue taps it up to Gray. They've got a 3-on-2 situation. O'Shea Brissett, the reverse layup, count it, plus the foul. Brissett taking over towards the end of this second quarter. Foul on Jones. It's a 6-point game. Three-point play for O'Shea Brissett. He averaged 16 points and 7 rebounds on a 2-way with the Raptors 905 last year, 2-way with the Toronto Raptors. 2-way contract, that is. It's a 5-point game. Paul Reed with 13 points and 8 rebounds in this first half gives it to Braxton Key. Next pass, Jamario Jones. 6 and 5 for Jamario. Under a minute to go, first half. Seven to shoot. Bowen, step back 3. 4-second difference, closer to 5 for the Bluecoats. Not enough time to go 2 for 1 here. So they'll dribble it out, and they'll leave Fort Wayne with very little time on the other side. Nice backdoor cut by Jones, but he is met at the rim, and it's all the way up, resulting in a bucket for Jalen LeCue and Fort Wayne. 2.9 seconds left after the LeCue basket. Perhaps there should be a little bit more time, and they do add almost a second, make it 3.6 seconds for the Bluecoats, leading by 5, 53-48, key to inbound. Into Tucker, not much time as he gets it across. He puts it up, and it goes. Count the basket on the floor pending a review. Rajon Tucker, how about that to end the first half? Big time bucket for Tucker. He's got 12. Paul Reed led all scorers with 13 in the first half. Tucker sends the Bluecoats into the locker room on a positive note. 55-48 heading to halftime here at the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex. Stick around. Plenty more to come during the halftime break. And on the other side with second half action, Bluecoats 55, the Fort Wayne Mad Ants 48 here on DETV heading to the break.
One of our family members wasn't feeling well. Within a matter of 4 days, my mom, myself, and my brother were admitted to Christiana Hospital. COVID does not have a face. You can be standing right next to someone who is COVID positive and you have no clue. I survived COVID, but I have scar tissue in my lungs. Wash your hands. Get tested. Wear a mask. COVID-19 stops with me.
Every fall, Motor Trend tests the latest SUVs. This year, one impressed us most. It's a modern take on a 70-year-old icon. Off-road, its capability is class-leading. On-road, it's refined and quick. Frankly, it's the SUV we love driving the most. Congratulations to the all-new Land Rover Defender, Motor Trend's 2021 SUV of the Year.
I was pretty sick and didn't realize how sick I was. So I called my son. I said, son, call an ambulance for me. That was the last thing I remembered. I was in a coma for 2.5 weeks. I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to feed myself. The nurses had to do everything for me. Wear a mask, wash your hands, get tested. COVID-19 stops with me.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bluecoats Halftime Live. D. Lynham along with you with Coach Jason Crafton and Matt Murphy. The Coats with a 55-48 lead here at the half, their first game of this 2021 season. And Murph, I'll just ask you, we didn't really know what to expect. A lot of new faces. But the two-way guys certainly came ready to play and contribute early.
Yeah, I hope you guys can hear me. I'm jumping back and forth as we make the technology work in this where we're at right now as a whole in society. But they took the Rajon Tucker basket off the board at the end of that second quarter. But even so, Tucker 10 points and Reed with 13 points. So you get 23 out of those guys. It's kind of what you expect when you tune into a GLeague game. You might expect the two-way contract players from the NBA to score well. And I think the Bluecoats team really needs that because they have a lot of versatile defenders, but it's sometimes who's going to score for this team. And the fact that Paul Reed can come out and be the leading scorer at halftime as a stretch for big man that has a unique raw game, for him to come out in his first G-League game and be in double figures and lead all scorers, very impressive stuff. Following shots as well for Paul Reed.
Yeah, absolutely. Jay, I'll ask you, though it was a 1-point game at the end of one quarter, and I thought the Bluecoats came out in that second quarter, went on a 15-4 run that built them a double-digit lead. But what impressed you in general with this group in this first half?
I think in such a short period of time, the overall energy and camaraderie, it seems like a brotherhood. And I know Connor's doing a great job just getting the culture right there. And Jared Brownridge plays a big part of that, and you just see Jared coming off the bench as a big time player, making some shots, but also getting the team together. I like the buy-in right now. I like the energy. Looking forward to seeing what they do in the second half.
Jay, I'm glad you brought up Jared Brownridge because we did highlight him before the game started as one of those familiar faces with a roster that doesn't have a lot of familiarity. And I thought he had a big bucket when Fort Wayne made a run at them. Connor called a timeout, and out of that timeout, Jared Brownridge knocked down a three-pointer, which we've come to know and love about him.
D, that was an impressive part of the game there because you see the Bluecoats go up double figures, and it's early in the season, and they're excited. They're playing great basketball, and then Fort Wayne goes on a 9-2 run, and now Connor calls a timeout, runs a great ATO, offensive master that he is, and sets it up for Jared Brownridge to let it rain from three. And I thought that got their confidence back up, and they closed out the half strong.
Coach, let's go back to your coach checklist from pregame and see how the Bluecoats are doing with regard to the things that we were going to look for and highlight as the game went on. What did you think?
Yeah, we talked about coming into the game that the Bluecoats last year were third in the GLeague in pace. So we knew Connor was going to want to have these guys up and down. I felt like the pace of the game was extremely high, but neither team could make shots early. So the score doesn't reflect the pace in terms of the movement and everything. The shooter's going to need to make some more shots for the Bluecoats. We also talked about, limiting turnovers. I thought in the first quarter, they did a great job of that, had 4 turnovers in the first quarter. But then the second turnover, they got 6 turnovers. Now they're up to 10. You got to be very careful here because if that thing starts rocketing over 18 turnovers, now you're giving Fort Wayne that's great in transition, a lot of easy baskets to get, and that's not what the Bluecoats want to do. So keep your eye on the turnovers. We talked about playing hard without fouling. I think they've done that. Only 9 free throw attempts for the Mad Ants. And I've also noticed a tremendous job, and credit to Jamario Jones, coming over on the help side and stepping up and closing off some drives. Very impressive to see those types of rotations in the first game of the season.
Coach, I'll just point out that defensively, they do hold Fort Wayne to 34% shooting and only 1 of 12 from 3. So I have to think you are impressed with what they're doing defensively.
Defensively, they're giving Coach Johnson everything that he could ask for. It's going to come down to now if they can maintain that type of defensive energy. Can they limit those turnovers that started to get increased in the second quarter? But they've got to execute and make some shots. And 42% from the field and 28% from 3. It's going to be tough for them to win the game shooting those percentages.
All right, we're looking forward to a good second half here, and then we'll hope that everybody revisits with us post-game when we bring you Moore's post-game show here on DETV. It's the Bluecoats and the Mad Ants, second half action coming up. Matt Murphy has it all taken care of from down there in the bubble. We'll see you after the game.
One of our family members wasn't feeling well. Within a matter of 4 days, my mom, myself, and my brother were admitted to Christiana Hospital. COVID does not have a face. You can be standing right next to someone who is COVID positive and you have no clue. I survived COVID, but I have scar tissue in my lungs. Wash your hands. Get tested. Wear a mask. COVID-19 stops with me.
Every fall, Motor Trend tests the latest SUVs. This year, one impressed us most. It's a modern take on a 70-year-old icon. Off-road, its capability is class-leading. On-road, it's refined and quick. Frankly, it's the SUV we love driving the most. Congratulations to the all-new Land Rover Defender, Motor Trend's 2021 SUV of the Year.
I was pretty sick and didn't realize how sick I was. So I called my son. I said, son, call an ambulance for me. That was the last thing I remembered. I was in a coma for 2.5 weeks. I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to feed myself. The nurses had to do everything for me. Wear a mask, wash your hands, get tested. COVID-19 stops with me.
Welcoming you back to the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex here at Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. Matt Murphy with you for some Delaware BlueCoats basketball on DETV. Welcome to the ride of what will be the 2021 G League season at a single site. And after one half of play, their first half of the 2021 season, the BlueCoats did a lot of great things. They're leading 53-48, and they were led by Sixers two-way players, Paul Reed and Rajon Tucker, both of whom scored in double figures in the first half. So the energy was good, and jumping off the point that Coach Crafton and D. Lynham made on our halftime live, the energy to the point where the communication here, so the perspective being located right by the bench, you can really hear the defensive communication. And I know that's something this coaching staff really wanted to see how it would play out, because it's a group that's only been together for a few weeks of training camp practice, 2 weeks basically to be exact, after some quarantine periods less than that. So a week and a little bit of change worth of practice, and at least the guys are communicating to the point where they were creating some turnovers, and it resulted in a first half lead over a Fort Wayne team that has some talent, especially in the backcourt. The defensive energy for the BlueCoats really stood out to me, and we'll run down some other individual stats here as we get ready for the start of the second half between the BlueCoats and the Mad Ants. Reed had 13, Paul Reed. Rajon Tucker had 10, and I'd be mistaken if I didn't mention Jared Brownridge. I know D and J had me covered at the halftime break, because Jared was a spark, the all-time leader in games played for the BlueCoats, approaching 100 games played with Delaware over the past few seasons, had 12 points, 3 threes contributed to that total. And he came off the bench a lot last year, and he did so again today as the team opened its season. Came off the bench in that first half, and the shot D was talking about when Fort Wayne had cut it to 5. Jared Brownridge came out and hit a 3 after Connor Johnson called a timeout. Really big shot. So those are the 3 in double figures scoring-wise for the BlueCoats. Paul Reed has 8 rebounds to lead the team. Jordan Bone and Braxton Key each have 3 assists. Give you some individual numbers for Fort Wayne quickly before talking about team stats, and one that really stands out in a negative way for both teams as they struggled shooting. But only one Mad Ant in double figures. The Mad Ants are the Indiana Pacers G League squad. O'Shea Brissett off the bench had 11. Again, he averaged 16 last year with the Raptors 905. He had 7 rebounds as well. So Brissett leading the Mad Ants in scoring. Josh Gray had 8. Cassius Stanley one above that with 9 points in the first half. The two-way players for Fort Wayne are Cassius Stanley, who I just mentioned, and Brian Bowen the second. He did not have a good first half. 0 for 5 from the field. Hasn't scored. 3 rebounds and a steal. So keep an eye out for how the BlueCoats do on Brian Bowen in the second half, because he's coming off a 22-12 game that included 6 offensive rebounds and 5 steals yesterday against Westchester for the Mad Ants, who are 0-1. He was only 1 of 6 from downtown in that 22-point performance. So the shooting touch not there for Bowen just yet in this early going of the season, and really not for anyone. I talk about Brownridge, and I mentioned Josh Gray. They both made multiple threes, but outside of that, 5 of 18 for Delaware from distance, 2 of 14 from three-point range for Fort Wayne. So that's 14% for the Mad Ants from three, 28% for the Bluecoats. We're about a minute or so away from the start of the second half. Again, with the Bluecoats leading the Fort Wayne Mad Ants 53-48 here on DETV. Should be a up and down second half of action. Both of these teams like to play fast, especially with the guards that Fort Wayne has. Unleash them a little bit more. Jalen LeCue is the only assignment player in this game. And while I have a moment, I'll quickly explain what that means. Basically, any NBA player who's on an NBA contract with less than 3 years of NBA service can be assigned to their G League club. So Jalen LeCue, formerly in the G League of the Northern Arizona Suns, was acquired by the Pacers, and they assigned him to the Mad Ants. And he's only 20 years old. He's a high flyer who has a 43-inch vertical. He wasn't really unleashed in that first half in the sense of transition offense. So we will see if LeCue can build off of his 4-point first half, his team trailing by 5. If you didn't catch the start of the halftime show, the bucket by Rajon Tucker that I thought was good at the end of the first half was taken off the board. So Tucker from 12 points to 10, and the Bluecoats from 55 points to 53 points. So it's a 5-point margin as we are moments away from the start of the second half here on DETV. Connor Johnson in the huddle, the third-year head coach of the Delaware Bluecoats, is 43-50. They were on pace for the playoffs last year in his second season. And they're hoping for a playoff berth this year, and we hope you'll be along for the ride. Teams back out on the floor. Bluecoats sporting their white uniforms. I think the announcement of the Tucker basket being no good was just remade to the teams who were in the locker room. So some of them finding out that it's only a 5-point lead for Delaware on defense with Washburn, Robinson, Tucker, Jones, and Reed to begin the second half. Cassius Stanley, look out below. One possession game again. Big time dunk for Cassius Stanley out of Duke. Justin Robinson knocks down the three. (56-50). Tapped around by Devin Robinson. Over the head of Brian Bowen. Last off of Bowen's hand. So the Bluecoats get it back. Second half just underway. Matt Murphy here with you from Advent Health Arena in Florida. Robinson will bring it up. It's the group that started for the Delaware Bluecoats starting the second half. Paul Reed loses it in traffic. Mitru Long the other way. Robinson looking to push. Gets it up for Reed. Euro steps around Robinson. Count it, plus the foul. Reed says, give me the bucket, and I'll go to the line. Paul Reed, highly impressive in his G League debut. A guy that has played in the NBA this season with the 76ers. Reed 7 of 9 shooting, 15 points, 8 rebounds, and really 1 minute into the third quarter. This would be for a 3-point play. Devin Robinson takes a seat for Fort Wayne as Reed knocks it down to get up to 16 points. So Robinson quickly out as Cassius Stanley, his miss, recovered by Bowen for 2. First bucket for Brian Bowen in the ballgame. Reed inside the arc. Robinson, next pass. Washburn, knocked down. Julian Washburn for three. Mitru Long up and under for two. The Mad Ants bench imploring the team to get some stops, but the Bluecoats aren't having any of it so far in the third quarter. Demario Jones operating on top. Looking for Tucker, but it's out of his reach, a turnover. Devin Robinson took a seat. The Robinson of the Mad Ants. Because he's got 4 personal fouls. So he comes out early in this third quarter. Cassius Stanley. 11 points. Over Jones. Long. Demario Jones. The board. Robinson. Tucker. Now Washburn. Washburn behind the back. Ends up with Reed. All Reed. 10 to shoot. Gives it to Rajon Tucker. Reed on top. Shot clock winding down. Spin move. But he turns it over with the carry. A few minutes into the second half, the third quarter, 62-54, Bluecoats lead. The Fort Wayne Mad Ants. Hammonds threw everybody seemingly for 2. And there's a double-double for Rayshawn Hammonds, the rookie from Georgia. 10 points, 10 rebounds. He's been impressive so far today. 3 minutes into this third quarter. Paul Reed's been the story for the Bluecoats. 16 points and 8 boards. Going to work on Hammonds. Long on the shot. D-ball Paul couldn't get that to fall. Brian Bowen, offensive rebound. Hammonds and the finish. He's been a force in the paint. Rayshawn Hammonds, his 11th board, gives the Mad Ants another bucket. It's a 4-point game. Tightened up by the Hammonds putback. Bluecoats take time, and we'll take it with them. 8:40 to go in the third quarter. Bluecoats 62, Mad Ants 58. Bluecoats basketball on DETV.
There's always this moment when you're about to leave the bubble and go out into nature where you feel a little crazy for doing it. But then if you keep going, you start laughing and you start turning on the music and you become joyous. You feel as if you've hacked something. Then you're in the slipstream. Those are the moments you will never forget.
One of our family members wasn't feeling well. Within a matter of 4 days, my mom, myself, and my brother were admitted to Christiana Hospital. COVID does not have a face. You can be standing right next to someone who is COVID positive and you have no clue. I survived COVID, but I have scar tissue in my lungs. Wash your hands. Get tested. Wear a mask. COVID-19 stops with me.
Christiana Care, proud partner of the Delaware Bluecoats, provides the community with really great care anywhere. Appointments available by video, phone, or in the office. Don't wait. Reconnect with great care for the love of health. Matt Murphy here at the NBA GLeague single site 2021 season at Walt Disney World. Bluecoats 62, Mad Ants 58. The Sixers and Pacers NBA GLeague affiliates meeting in this one. Early third quarter action, Robinson goes into the paint. Justin Robinson will go to the line for Delaware. Mitru Long, that's his third foul. Robinson shooting 1 for 2 at the line. Robinson sinks the 2-point free throw. He's got 7 points and 4 assists. BlueCoats starting point guard. Knocked away by Delaware on defense. Robinson pushing. Steps into a three. Bowen, the defensive board for Fort Wayne. Stanley steps into a three. Right rim. Here come the Coats in the GLeague road white uniforms. Robinson with Tucker, Reed, Jones, and Brownridge. Looking for Jones. Robinson's pass intercepted. As Mitru Long, Tucker stepping in, no whistle. Playing on. And there's a whistle for a travel on Cassius Stanley. About to get some subs for the first time in the second half. Paul Reed will catch his breath for the Bluecoats, as will Jamario Jones, with Ivan Rabb and Lamine Janet coming in. Reed takes a seat. If you haven't been with us, he's got 16 points on 7 of 10 shooting, 1 of 2 from beyond the arc, and he's made his only free throw, 8 rebounds as well. Rabb in there as the big man for the Bluecoats, gives it to Tucker. Janet, the rookie from Senegal, by way of Cal State Northridge, got it to Rabb, who at the end of the shot clock hits the jumper. Ivan Rabb, a decorated high school and college player, formerly of the Memphis Grizzlies at the NBA level, most recently the Westchester Knicks at the G League level. Brian Bowen knocks in the three. His first of the game on his 4th attempt. Rabb. Robinson. Five to shoot. Robinson. Elbow jumper. Counting down towards the halfway point of the third quarter. Bluecoats by 7. Another turnover by Fort Wayne. Brownridge knocked out of his hands and out of bounds last off the Mad Ants. Fast break points for the Bluecoats in this one. Turnovers are about even. 15 for Fort Wayne, 14 for Delaware. Little rush early season. Washburn, 3. He got it. Julian Washburn hits the triple. His second of the game for 8 points. Third basket overall. Late whistle as LeCue drove to the cup. It's on Janet. Bluecoats up 10 here in their season opener in 2021. G League season, 15-game regular season here in Disney. Top 8 teams out of 18 will play in single elimination postseason. LeCue's free throw would have been 2 points. It's in and out, so it's nothing. Brownridge pumps the 3, fades, and hits. Gotta respect the shooter in Brownridge. Pump fake worked to perfection to create some space for himself. 12-point lead for the Bluecoats. Brownridge has 14 for Delaware off the bench. LeCue around Janet, and he scores. Jalen LeCue with 6. His team being led by 3 players in double figures, only one of whom is on the court right now. Actually, Cassius Stanley has taken a seat. LeCue draws the offensive foul, so Fort Wayne will get possession again. Hammonds and Brissett also in double figures for the Mad Ants, but all 3 of those players on the bench right now. Josh Gray with it. The big dunk for Raphael Putney. His first action after being picked up just a few days ago in the available player pool. Rab, jumper, gets it to go. Ivan Rab to double figures with 10. Rab an efficient 5 of 6 from the field. Gray, contested by Rab. Putney was going for a whistle on Jordan Bone, trying to prevent Putney from getting the offensive board. These teams a part of the G League bubble in one resort. Masks, social distancing, testing, part of the daily routine. Every team with a testing slot and a practice slot. Rab fouls LeCue on the way to the cup. Still a 10-point game.
Hey, Jordan, make him shoot. He's going to the rim every time. Hey, rebound. He missed 2 already. Rebound.
LeCue to the line, shooting 1 for 2. LeCue knocks it down. It's an 8-point game. Brownridge finds a wide open Janae. He hits it. Lamine Janae. His first professional basket was a 3-ball and a needed one. Putney up and in, giving the Mad Ants a spark. Putney, the 6'10", 30-year-old who recently joined the team this week. Mad Ants down 9, looking to cut in further with a steal. Miles scoops it up and in. It's a 7-point game. 4 minutes even to go. Third quarter. Jordan Bone looking for Washburn. Falls out to Brownridge, who can't hit the triple. 3 of 7 from deep is Jared Brownridge. Josh Gray puts it up off the window and in. Gray to double figures, the 4th Fort Wayne player to do so. The BlueCoats have 4 as well. 5-point game and a whistle. Whistle on Putney. 3:25 to go in this third quarter. BlueCoats season tickets. Get your tickets for the 2021-22 season. Still a few amazing VIP seats remaining. Lower level plans start at less than $10 per ticket. Members receive an exclusive BlueCoats gift and a meet the team event. Ivan Rab and Lamine Janae taking a seat for Delaware. It's Washburn out there with Bone, Jones, Brownridge, and Paul Reed. 5 to shoot. Jordan Bone can't hit the 3. Mad Ants can make it a 1-possession game. LeCue fouled again. Jalen LeCue with a little more aggressiveness here in this second half. Foul on Reed. That's the 3rd on Reed, who picked up 2 in the very early going of the first quarter. LeCue on assignment from Indiana, just 20 years old. Attended Brewster Academy in New Hampshire, the same school that produced none other than BlueCoats assistant coach Xavier Silas. 3-point game. Jones misses the 3. 9 of 25 are the BlueCoats now from deep. Fort Wayne's just 3 of 18 from distance. (78-75). BlueCoats in need of a stop. 8 to shoot. 3-ball ties it up. Daxter Miles. 78 all. Miles, big-time career at West Virginia a few years back. Second all-time in career starts at West Virginia. Brownridge, count it, plus the foul. Jared Brownridge going to the line. Big bucket for JB. And that's the fifth foul on Daxter Miles, who just tied the game with a 3. Full timeout on the floor. So Mad Ants will have to take Miles out, you would assume, as we hit a break. 80-78 Bluecoats. Third quarter on DETV.
I was pretty sick and didn't realize how sick I was. So I called my son. I said, son, call an ambulance for me. That was the last thing I remembered. I was in a coma for 2.5 weeks. I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to feed myself. The nurses had to do everything for me. Wear a mask, wash your hands, get tested. COVID-19 stops with me.
Join the Junior 76ers Kids Club presented by Five Below and experience the game from home with live 76ers trivia and more game day activations, or activities rather, via the mobile app. Members can now earn points and redeem for cool 76ers prizes. Sign up for a free rookie membership or upgrade to an all-star membership, which includes a welcome kit. For more information, visit Sixers.com/kidsclub. Jared Brownridge at the line out of the timeout, looking to convert a three-point play with a 2-point lead. He sinks it. It's 81-78. Jalen LeCue misses the lay-in. Jones pushing. Nice pass to Reed. 18 points for Paul Reed. The dish from Jamario Jones. GLeague action in the bubble. Matt Murphy here with you on DETV. Josh Gray with the basketball for the Bluecoats opponent for their season opener, the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. Gray played with Erie last year, averaged 22 a game. He's got 10 today. LeCue at the end of the shot clock gets the roll from beyond the arc. 2-point game. Bluecoats up. Jordan Bone. Now Rajon Tucker. Tucker driving in, and a whistle comes in, deservingly so. Tucker worked hard for that one. Tucker will shoot 1 for 2 points. When it comes to Bluecoats group deposits for the 2021-22 season, also now available. Exclusive fan experiences are available for groups of any size, including playing on the court. Your group can sit together for just $12 a ticket. Tucker lines up a free throw and makes it. Visit our Bluecoats website or call 302-504-7587 for more information on Bluecoats group deposits. Tucker's free throw that counts for 2 makes it a 4-point game. Final minute third quarter. Robinson picks up his fourth foul for Delaware. The other Robinson of Fort Wayne has foul trouble as well with 4. Gray's free throw is pure. 2-point game as 2 goes up on the board. Putney will have to wait to come in for Hammonds. 107, clock moving again. Justin Robinson, 85-83 with the lead. Pace and space, some pillars for this Delaware BlueCoats offense. 10 to shoot, Bone. Tucker, former NBA player with the Jazz, drives in, pretty finish, plus the foul, Rajon Tucker. Big time finish for Tucker. He's got 14. Brownridge with 17 and Reed with 18 to lead the BlueCoats. Tucker knocks it down. 3-point play, 15 points for him overall. 40 seconds to go in the third. 5-point lead for Delaware, looking to pick up a win in their first game of the year. Offensive foul, Fort Wayne. It's on Raphael Putney. Pace and space, I mentioned. 21 assists as a team for the BlueCoats. Big 3 for Justin Robinson. Big time shot for the Virginia Tech product. Nine-second difference between shot and game clock. And Brissett is fouled shooting a 3. Jared Brownridge replaces Jordan Bone with 17.6 seconds to go third quarter. Brissett's lone free throw immediately makes it a 5-point game. Last shot of the quarter, 91-86 Delaware. Robinson out there with Tucker, Brownridge, Jones, and Reed. Who's going to take the last shot? 5. Robinson loses it. And a foul. It's on Fort Wayne. Collision in the lane. Robinson's still down, but he actually draws the foul with 3 seconds left. It's on LeCue. So Robinson is shooting in the bonus here with 3 seconds left. So big call there in the lane. Robinson got the start at point guard. He's got 12 points in the game. He's 1 of 2 at the line. Played 9 NBA games with the Washington Wizards last season before joining the BlueCoats. Puts it up and in. Count 2 for Robinson. 14 in the game. Brissett at the end of the third. Over the rim and off. So we are heading to the fourth quarter with the Delaware BlueCoats holding on to a 93-86 lead. They led by a few at halftime, 5 to be exact, and they lead heading to the fourth. Stay tuned for what should be a fun fourth quarter in store on DETV.
of our family members wasn't feeling well. Within a matter of 4 days, my mom, myself, and my brother were admitted to Christiana Hospital. COVID does not have a face. You can be standing right next to someone who is COVID positive and you have no clue. I survived COVID, but I have scar tissue in my lungs. Wash your hands, get tested, wear a mask. COVID-19 stops with me.
Every fall, Motor Trend tests the latest SUVs. This year, one impressed us most. It's a modern take on a 70-year-old icon. Off-road, its capability is class-leading. On-road, it's refined and quick. Frankly, it's the SUV we love driving the most. Congratulations to the all-new Land Rover Defender, Motor Trend's 2021 SUV of the Year.
I was pretty sick, didn't realize how sick I was. So I called my son. I said, son, call an ambulance for me. That was the last thing I remembered. I was in a coma for 2.5 weeks. I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to feed myself. The nurses had to do everything for me. Wear a mask, wash your hands, get tested. COVID-19 stops with me.
Start of the fourth quarter here in Florida. Matt Murphy here on DETV. BlueCoats ball leading 93-86. Justin Robinson possessing. He's having a strong game. Tucker now with it. 10 on the shot clock. Back to Robinson. 3 ball. Offensive board, Jones. Shot clock reset to 14. Here's Tucker. For a rolling Jones. Shoveling it to Reed off of his hands and a turnover. Reed couldn't grab that one, but he's got a game leading 18 points. Plus 8 rebounds. There's Jones, listed at 6'5", a great rebounder. Already his 9th to lead the team in today's game. Not the starting group for the BlueCoats that started the game and the second half. Jared Brownridge is in there in place of Julian Washburn. Robinson, 8 on the shot clock. Bounces it for Jones, who lobs for Reed. Got to put it up. Goes out to Robinson. Fading, can't hit. Devin Robinson's outlet pass results in a foul on Rajon Tucker of the BlueCoats. 46% from the field for the Mad Ants, 48% for Delaware. 10 threes now for the BlueCoats after a slow start. 27 attempts for them from long range. Both teams shooting it well from the line as well. Big block from Reed on Bowen. Robinson for a trailing Jones, now Tucker. Back to Robinson, 3 ball. 10th rebound for Jamario Jones. Out to Brownridge. Tucker flying in to no avail. Other end, layup doesn't go. The follow does for Devin Robinson. Former Florida Gator puts it home. He had 9 rebounds, 5 on the offensive glass in a 125-120 loss on day 1 of the GLeague season yesterday to the Westchester Knicks. First game for the BlueCoats. Brownridge on the cut, the feed from Reed. 95-88. Coats. Fort Wayne wanted a timeout. We play on. It was not granted. Coats with numbers. Jamario Jones with the look off and the finish. How about that? looking the way of his teammate the whole time and says, nope, I'll take it myself. Jones with 8 points and 10 boards, a bucket away from a double-double. Also has 5 assists, a versatile player, well-rounded game. Reed has a double-double himself in his first G League game. That was his 10th board, 18 points and 10 rebounds for Paul Reed, 76ers two-way player out of DePaul. A nice debut outing in the G League for B-Ball Paul. 8 on the shot clock. Brownridge, 3 ball, buckets. Jared Brownridge gets the Bluecoats to 100. Timeout, Fort Wayne, 188. Bluecoats lead. 8:49 to go in the fourth quarter. Bluecoats out in front on DETV. We'll be right back.
There's always this moment when you're about to leave the bubble and go out into nature where you feel a little crazy for doing it. But then if you keep going, you start laughing and you start turning on the music and you become joyous. You feel as if you've hacked something. Then you're in the slipstream. Those are the moments you will never forget.
One of our family members wasn't feeling well. Within a matter of 4 days, my mom, myself, and my brother were admitted to Christiana Hospital. COVID does not have a face. You can be standing right next to someone who is COVID positive and you have no clue. I survived COVID, but I have scar tissue in my lungs. Wash your hands. Get tested. Wear a mask. COVID-19 stops with me.
Land Rover Wilmington, official partner of the Delaware Bluecoats. Stop by Land Rover Wilmington on Kirkwood Highway or visit LandRoverWilmington.com. When you visit, mention the Bluecoats and get a special thank you gift. 100 points for the Bluecoats, 88 for the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. 8:49 to go in the fourth. Big 3 ball from Jared Brownridge extends the lead to 12 for the Coats, who are the visiting team today, but everybody is here at the single site near Orlando, Florida for the 2021 G League season. Mad Ants up to 90. Jalen LeCue, strong second half for him. He's up to 15 points to lead all Fort Wayne players. Here's Tucker. Tucker draws the foul, and he'll shoot 1 for 2 here. Everything outside of the final 2 minutes is 1 free throw. Coats are 10 of 11 at the line. Tucker himself is 5 for 5 from the stripe today, 15 points. Make him 6 for 6 at the charity stripe. The Charlotte native signed to a 2-way contract by the Sixers relatively recently, ahead of the G League season. You might have been able to hear Bluecoats head coach Connor Johnson wants his defense to talk again. On defense, communicate, get some more stops, put this thing away. Still plenty of game left. 8:27 to go, fourth quarter. 102-90. Good active hands, but the Mad Ants recover. 3 ball goes down for Nazmi Long. A relatively good defensive possession, just unlucky on the tap out. And Mitru Long makes the Bluecoats pay. It's a single-digit game again. They cut the deficit to 9. Spin move, Rajon Tucker, no foul. Retreating on defense. The lob up for O'Shea Brissett. And the Bluecoats want to take time. 5 straight for the Mad Ants. 7-point lead for the Bluecoats, who take a timeout, and we will take it with them. Bluecoats basketball on DETV.
I was pretty sick and didn't realize how sick I was. So I called my son. I said, son, call an ambulance for me. That was the last thing I remembered. I was in a coma for 2.5 weeks. I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to feed myself. The nurses had to do everything for me. Wear a mask, wash your hands, get tested. COVID-19 stops with me.
The Delaware Bluecoats are committed to lifting up Wilmington's youth through the power of basketball. Since 2016, the Bluecoats have distributed more than 55,000 books to local elementary school students. Players and coaches have made more than 150 classroom appearances. Learn how you can get involved today. Email bluecoatsinfo@76ers.com. That's bluecoatsinfo@76ers.com. And remember, basketball has power. 102-95 Delaware on offense with the lead. Jared Brownridge has a game high with 22 points. Out for Jordan Bone. Count it for 3. The find from Brownridge. The lead back to double digits. First game of the year for the Bluecoats here in the bubble. They've been here for just about 2 weeks, with the first few days being a quarantine period. Excited, to say the least. You gather from the guys to be back out on the floor playing some basketball. First Bluecoats game in over 300 days. Foul on Brownridge of Delaware. Matt Murphy with you on DETV. Excited to bring you the 15-game regular season for the Delaware Bluecoats that kicks off today with this one. As Mitru Long, 1 free throw, 2 points, 8-point ball game. Jordan Bone in the corner. 9 on the shot clock. Good pass from Washburn down for Jones. Double-double for Jamario Jones. 10 points, 10 rebounds. How about 5 assists as well? LeCue, doubled by Brownridge and Rab for a moment. Rab retreats. 5 seconds on the shot clock. No whistle until later on the follow. They're going to call it on Rab. The bucket went. They're going to call it an and one opportunity for Brian Bowen. Quiet call there. This will give Fort Wayne 100 points if Bowen can make it and cut it to 7. Right now it's an 8-point game. As a matter of fact, they're going to take the bucket away. So it's 1 free throw for 2 points. Should be 107-97. And it stays that way because he misses the free throw. So it went from an and one opportunity to nothing for Fort Wayne. Rab, blocking foul. on Nazmi Trulong. He wants maybe a coach's challenge. Doesn't think it was a block, but nothing from Tom Hankins on the sideline. Rab to the line. One shot. Devin Robinson sits for Fort Wayne. Raphael Putney in. Mario Jones subs out for Delaware. Washburn in there as Rab hits the free throw. It's Rab, Washburn, Tucker, Robinson, and Bone. So both point guards, Robinson and Bone, out there together. Brian Bowen for three, no good. Offensive rebound and finish for O'Shea Brissett. Halfway through the fourth quarter, the Bluecoats looking to pick up their first win in their first game of the year. 10 on the shot clock for Jordan Bone, who slips. 4 on the shot clock. Robinson darting into the lane. Mitru Long collects the miss. Lays it off for Jalen LeCue. He's been the story in the second half for the Mad Ants. 15 points for the game. Mitru Long. Whistle as Putney was trying to create space in the lane. It's on Jordan Bone. So Putney fouled by Bone. 1 for 2 opportunity. It'll get the Mad Ants over the century mark, trailing by 10. He does sink the free throw, the 30-year-old Putney, for 2 points. It's an 8-point game. Buckle up for this finish. Robinson laying it off for a rolling Rab who kicks it out of bounds back to Fort Wayne. Technically a Mad Ants home game, so you get a little bit of their PA flavor as if this game was being played in Fort Wayne, Indiana. The Bluecoats will have their own home game of sorts tomorrow night against Santa Cruz. Mitru Long lays it in. It's a 6-point game in favor of the Bluecoats. 5 even left in regulation. Bluecoats 7 o'clock tomorrow against Santa Cruz. Saturday is the next game for Fort Wayne. Offensive foul. Mad Ants basketball after the offensive foul on Rajon Tucker. The other Sixers two-way. Paul Reed set to check back in at the next stoppage. Intercepted by Robinson. Justin Robinson. The lob for Rajon Tucker, who puts it up and is going to the line. Delaware 12 of 13 at the line in the game. Tucker himself is 6 of 6. LeCue with the foul. Just personnel in terms of stats crew across the way and some coaches for each team. But other than that, gets pretty silent on free throws. Tucker 7 for 7 in the game. 19 points for Rajon Tucker, second on the team behind Brownridge's 22. Second in the game behind Brownridge's 22. That one falls through for Mitru Long, who was inserted into the Fort Wayne starting lineup today after not starting last night in the loss to Westchester, yesterday afternoon rather. 17 points for Nazmi True Long. Brownridge, 22 in the game. Off for Tucker, 3 ball, he got it. Rajon Tucker from downtown. Brissett short on the three, but he was fouled. Jones whistled. Brissett set to shoot 1 for 3. Rajon Tucker after that three, tied with Brownridge with 22. He's having a huge day. Tucker, who earned an NBA call-up last season with Utah after averaging almost 24 points a game in 16 G League games with Wisconsin. Quick 30-second timeout. We'll keep it here. BlueCoats wanted to use one. They've got 2 remaining with 3:54 to go in regulation and a 114-105 lead. First game of the year for Connor Johnson's bunch. 94th game that Johnson has coached the Delaware BlueCoats. They enjoyed a franchise record 7-game winning streak at one point last season. Fort Wayne is still in the huddle. Good delay of game warning, you would assume. They're back out there. Fourth quarter action set to resume. With the Mad Ants at the line. Big free throw. O'Shea Brissett, 1 free throw. That's worth 3. And he gets the roll. Back to a 6-point game. Brissett's got 21 to lead all Mad Ants. Robinson working down low. Blocked. Mitru Long to the cup for 2. It's a 4-point game. As Mitru Long has been active today, 19 points. Also has 5 assists. Averages about 6 for his G League career, this being his 4th G League campaign. Jared Brownridge, 8 on the shot clock. He's had a huge day offensively. Reverse layup doesn't go. Jones active on the glass, and he's fouled by Devin Robinson. Jamario Jones going to the line. Jones led the G League last year in total rebounds with 504. That was his 12th of game 1 in a BlueCoats uniform. A really fun guy on and off the court. 1 shot for 2. Back rims the free throw. 114-110 Delaware season opener here at Walt Disney World. Jones got a hand on it, but it stayed with Brissett. Now Mitru Long. The follow goes for Devin Robinson. 2-point ball game, 2:48 and ticking. Fourth quarter. Rajon Tucker, 22 points to his name, no whistle. Back out to Tucker. Brownridge, 4-3. Last off of Delaware on the miss. Leading by 2, but heading back on defense. Mitru Long met at the rim by Tucker. Big defensive play by Rajon Tucker. Fort Wayne will inbound underneath. We're in the, underneath with Mitru Long, 11 on the shot clock. LeCue, open for 3, opts not to shoot it. Reed steps out on it. Only 6 on the shot clock. Trailing by 2, Jalen LeCue. 3 to shoot. Robinson, got to get it off. He does. Shot doesn't go. Tipped out to Brissett. Robinson again, he's fouled. So this is 2 free throws now that we're under 2 minutes in regulation. Under 2 minutes, it's 2 shots for Devin Robinson. Played 42 games for Delaware in 2017-18. Misses the first. "25 years old, was acquired in a trade by Fort Wayne on December 29th. Splits the pair. It's a 1-point game. BlueCoats leading. Justin Robinson lobs it up. Paul Reed, foul. Going to the line for a chance at 20 points in the game. He'll shoot 2. Paul Reed, who is an Orlando, Florida native, playing close to home. Nothing but net on the first for Paul Reed. Make it a 3-point game. "20 points for Paul Reed in his G-League debut. 1 rebound away from a double-double. They actually did not give him that 10th rebound earlier in this half when I thought he had it secured. 3-ball in and out for Brian Bowen. There's the 10th rebound for Paul Reed. 20 and 10 for B-ball Paul. 3-point lead, minute and a half to go. Brownridge. Off for Robinson, who's pushed out of bounds. Blocking foul, actually, on Fort Wayne. Justin Robinson will go to the line. It's on Brissett. 1:20 to go. Misses the first free throw. The BlueCoats up by 3 in their first game. They'll basically play every other day at minimum for 15 games this regular season here at the G-League's single site. They have 5 back-to-backs. Mad Ants playing a back-to-back today. Robinson hits the second of 2. It's a 2-possession game now. Approaching the final minute. Matt Murphy here with you. DETV, your home for BlueCoats basketball. Half the shot clock gone. Back out to LeCue. Fort Wayne needs a bucket. 3-ball. LeCue short. Jones up for Brownridge. He's got Tucker. Back to Brownridge. He lays it in. Timeout. Mad Ants. 30-second timeout for Fort Wayne. 6-point lead for Delaware. Looking to put the finishing touches on this one, but 56.3 has the potential to feel like an eternity. Keeping it here. Teams talking it over. Fort Wayne ball down by 6. Celebrate your birthday with the BlueCoats next season. Not a better place to celebrate your special day than a courtside party. Email BlueCoatsTickets@76ers.com. That's BlueCoatsTickets@76ers.com for information on future events. About to inbound the ball, the Fort Wayne Mad Ants, the Pacers G-League affiliate. Down 6 to the Delaware BlueCoats, the G-League affiliate of the 76ers. 50 seconds left in regulation. Devin Robinson, the big jams. Expecting a foul here in a 4-point game. There's a 26-second difference. BlueCoats still have 15 to work with on the shot clock. So they don't foul. They're going to play it out. BlueCoats are 16 of 19 at the line in this one. No whistle there as Tucker got into the rim. Fort Wayne. LeCue. Mitru Long finishes in traffic. It's a 2-point game with 20.8 seconds left in regulation. Jones has to get it in. Brownridge steps to the ball, but they go to Robinson, who's fouled. With the shot clock off, Fort Wayne fouls right away. Justin Robinson will shoot. He's 3 for 5 at the line today. Former all ACC second team player at Virginia Tech. The left-hander getting set to line it up. It is 2 shots because we're under 2 minutes. Again, he misses the front end of 2. So at minimum, it'll still be a 1-possession game. He makes the second of 2 once again in back-to-back trips. 120, 117, another 30-second timeout on the court. Well, if you wanted to ease your way back into GLeague action, BlueCoats action for that matter, we're going to give you a nail-biter instead right away. BlueCoats trying to hold on in game number 1 of 15. They're up 3, but they're about to retreat on defense with Fort Wayne drawing something up. Fort Wayne's down 3, and in the game, they're 6 of 27 from beyond the arc. That's only 22%. They could go for 2, easiest bucket possible. It's the reset timeout that gives it to them in the front court. G-League rule. Reset on the give and go with Mitru Long. The finish by Devin Robinson. The first look didn't go, but the second did. Brissett's up on Brownridge. They don't foul right away, but now they do. And Fort Wayne doesn't think that ball was taken out of bounds all the way. 2 shots for Jared Brownridge coming up. Up by 1. Big free throws to say the least. He's 2 of 2 today. 24 points in the game. Leads all scorers. The all-time leader in games played in Delaware franchise history. Jared Brownridge out of Santa Clara. Pure on the first free throw. Brownridge calmly hits both. It's a 3-point lead for Delaware. And this is actually the reset timeout. Pardon me. This is where you don't meet. You don't huddle. You simply advance the basketball. 11.9 to go. Ryan Bowen inbounds. Down 3. Mitru Long with it. Brownridge up on him. Shoots the 3. Long. BlueCoats rebound. Final seconds. Robinson foul. Can put it away here. Be sure to stay tuned for BlueCoats post-game live presented by Nemours Children's Health System with BlueCoats analyst D. Lynham and Jason Crafton as well. 2 shots. That's 3 straight trips that Robinson has missed the first free throw. BlueCoats get a delay of game warning for Robinson kind of running around after that free throw miss. He missed both. 3 seconds. Fort Wayne throws it out of bounds. with no timeouts left. The Bluecoats do. They'll take one. So they had no choice but to outlet it quickly with no timeouts. And they threw it straight to the sideline. The Bluecoats want to just make sure they can get this ball inbounds and get out of here with a victory. They'll be back at it tomorrow night, and we hope you're along with us at 7 o'clock on DETV. Something the team practiced yesterday, inbounding the ball with 3 seconds or less. Jones will inbound. Devin Robinson guarding the ball. 1.9 to go. Bluecoats by 3. Throws it to Jared Brownridge, who's hit. They don't call it. They may call it after the fact, but the horn goes. They're going to add time, as they do say Brownridge was fouled, so he can really put the icing on the cake here on what's been a fantastic performance for Jared Brownridge. 26 points. He had 39 in a game last season at College Park. A little more than a year ago, February 7th. Makes the first. Brownridge makes it a 4-point game. They added 1.1 seconds to the clock. And he hits the second. The Bluecoats win their first game of the 2021 campaign, 124-119 over the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. A 5-point victory, a 124-point offensive outburst for the Delaware Bluecoats, who are 1-0 on the season. They close out the victory. Impressive showing down the stretch to hang on with a team that's been together for just a few weeks, practicing, that is. And they show poise down the stretch. Jared Brownridge sealing the deal. And the Bluecoats win this thing 124-119. About to send it to our post-game show. Brownridge led the way with a game-high 28 points for Delaware. Two-way players Paul Reed and Rajon Tucker of the 76ers combined for 42 in a 5-point Bluecoats victory. I'm Matt Murphy here in Florida, sending it over now for Post-Game Live, presented by Nemours Children's Health System.
I was pretty sick and didn't realize how sick I was. So I called my son. I said, son, call an ambulance for me. That was the last thing I remembered. I was in a coma for 2.5 weeks. I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to feed myself. The nurses had to do everything for me. Wear a mask, wash your hands, get tested. COVID-19 stops with me.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bluecoats Post-Game Live, presented by Nemours Children's Health System. Visit nemore.org for more information. D-Line, I'm along with Jay Crafton. Wow, Jay, I'll just say that was a little harder than we thought it was going to be when they were up by double digits. But the Bluecoats do pull off the victory, 124-119 over Fort Wayne. Let's just start with an overall thought from you on what you thought and what you liked from Connor Johnson's team today.
I thought they showed great resilience. You know, you're going to have ups and downs in the first game of the season. Brand new team, you know, so we saw them get down. We saw them go up. We saw all the different, you know, variety of things you can go through in the early parts of the season. You know, hats off to the team for closing it out. Big clutch free throws by Jared Brownridge to close the game out. I thought they got incredible effort and point production off the bench, and that was huge. And that gave them the ability to close out and get the win.
Let's talk about Jared, because we did highlight him before the game started. You know, he's a veteran, I would say. You know, we've come to know and like him. with the Bluecoats. He does come off the bench, but this guy can make shots, and he had 28 points today coming off Connor's bench, which I thought was very impressive.
What I love about JB, Jared Brownridge, is that he has the ability to get hot, whether he's playing as a starter or coming off the bench. Total blue-collar, team-first guy, and that's why we love JB. 4 for 10 from 3 tonight, and just made a lot of great plays. As you see him continue to diversify his game, he even put the ball on the floor a little bit and was able to find guys for some open shots. So a lot of times when the defense is converging on him and they're sending one, maybe two guys at him, he's doing a great job of moving that basketball, keeping the pace up, and getting his teammates open shots. Salute to JB.
One of the hot hands early and really an impressive performance was two-way player Paul Reed. And obviously Tucker was equally good, but Paul Reed has our drive of the game brought to us by Land Rover Wilmington. Tell us what you think and saw in Paul Reed, because he's one of the new faces.
Oh, yeah, as we put that clip up and you see him throwing down a thunderous dunk here, he started off the game with great energy. We talked about his activity, and his length and being all over the offensive glass and the defensive glass. He did that tonight, getting a double-double in his first game this season. He's played at DePaul for Dave Lato, so he brings that type of toughness and ferocity and tenacity to the game. I think it was very impressive to see him continue to improve his offensive skill set on the perimeter in terms of dribbling the basketball. We saw him handle it in a few possessions, driving in the lane and also kicking it out for guys to make shots. Watch for Paul Reed to be a big-time part of what the Bluecoats are doing this year. Today's drive of the game is brought to you by Land Rover Wilmington, proud partner of the Delaware Bluecoats. Come see the new Land Rover Defender and refreshed Range Rover Velar at Land Rover Wilmington.
And we should tell people, Paul Reed, the Sixers have done a really good job. He was selected 58th overall. He was a double-double guy in college, as you pointed out, went to DePaul, where last year he averaged 15 and a half and 11 rebounds. And now we see him for the first time with a Bluecoats jersey, and he does the same thing. I'm looking forward to watching his career.
I think Paul Reed's got a chance to be a special player. Definitely somebody that should be that's on the Sixers' radar. You think of a guy like Shake Milton, who was a late second-round pick, developed into a rostered player that's a big-time contributor for the Sixers. I see Paul Reed going down that same path. Hopefully he can get there.
All right, and we'll be back to do this all over again tomorrow when they take on the Santa Cruz Warriors. But I got to think really a good start to their season. It's a quick season, 15 games. Anything we should look forward to or expect out of them tomorrow?
I think Coach Johnson is going to go in and talk about the great energy. I think conditioning becomes a factor right now. With such a short amount of time to prepare, I thought they exerted a lot of energy. So those guys getting hydrated, getting back to the hotel rooms, relaxing their bodies, beginning to prepare their minds for tomorrow. But they got to get some rest tonight. Rest is going to be key in a back-to-back situation. So conditioning will play a part. I know Coach is going to talk to them about the offensive rebounds. D, as we were watching the game, we saw, a lot of great defensive efforts, but not finishing the possession with blocking out. 14 offensive rebounds they gave up, and that led to a lot of second chance opportunities. The turnovers, the 19 turnovers, it could have gotten crazy and gotten to the 20s, but the ones that hurt you are the live ball turnovers. So when you've got, some new point guards coming in like Bone, they just got there, and just trying to figure out the offense. The live ball turnovers give up easy baskets in transition. I'm sure they'll watch film on that, clean it up, and be ready to go for tomorrow.
And we want to point out and say a huge shout out to our season ticket holders of the game. We can't wait to see everybody back at the field house. But right now, a shout out to the Snyder family, and thanks so much for being Bluecoats supporters. We appreciate it. Jay, I look forward to doing this with you again tomorrow. And like I said, we'll keep people tuned into Bluecoats basketball right here on DETV. This was fun. Thank you.
I get it. You stay safe in the snow.
Absolutely. I want to remind people that Postgame Live was brought to us by Nemours Children's Health System, the official partner of the Delaware Bluecoats. When injuries sideline your young athlete, trust Nemours sports medicine experts who understand kids best and can help them get back to the game they love. Visit nemours.org, sports medicine, to learn more. For Jay and for Matt Murphy, great job by Matt calling the game down there in the bubble. I am D. Lynam. We'll do it again tomorrow at 7 o'clock right here on DETV.